All right, all right. Let me see. All right, I want to give all glory and praise unto Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, and Brakatah. I give all glory and praise unto those holy and powerful names of Yahweh being the Father and Yahweh Shai being his only begotten Son. This is Brother Malachi coming at you again through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, coming in the way of the Bahashim Kakwadash, which is the Holy Spirit of truth to the apostles, great military who the rule will, do teach will. And yeah, we're gonna get to this lesson. I wanted to touch on through the spirit Ezekiel, the first chapter. But the inspiration for this lesson is just basically going into the Majesty. We can do a little Google search on that. Going through the Majesty, and the power, Majesty, and power of the Lord Yahweh Yahweh Shai. And because I was thinking about how you know through the spirit that we in and of ourselves we are gods. We're just going through this mortal experience, because we fallen from our first estate. You know what I'm saying? um and I was thinking how Yahweh Shem Shai is sitting at the right hand, and he's been given all majesty and he's been given all power. We're gonna get into it. This is kind of an impromptu lesson. I know what I want to go into, in regards to Ezekiel, the first chapter, but I do want to, the Spirit's already giving me and flooding me with other precepts that I might want to get so I can make this lesson, more edifying. But we're going to go into it, and Lord willing. Oh, shit. As soon as I get into my car, hold on. Come on, get out of here. All right. So, soon, okay. So, all right, the Majesty, and it says impressive stateliness or dignity or beauty, royal power. Here when it's in two, it says the simile the here in royal power here it says the majesty of the royal household. See, we're a part of a royal priesthood. We're part of a royal household, man. Lord willing, we be of the hopeful number. We trying to be of the first fruits of the house of David to return and receive the kingdom, via the first resurrection, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be unto the unhearkening children of Israel, the stubborn children of Israel, who this truth is, we teach unto them, but yet they don't want to hearken unto it, and they will be destroyed lest they repent and come back into the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. But it says here in similar, it says sovereignty, authority, power, dominion, supremacy, and the Lord is supreme over the earth. The Lord is supreme over over everything. He's supreme over the damn firmament, the heavens, everything, because Yahweh Shem Shai Yahweh Shai created everything, and Yahweh being the Father gave Yahawashi a principality and power over everything. And I'm finna get a precept to and go into that, and then we're gonna touch Ezekiel and go into a few other things. I don't know how long this lesson is necessarily gonna be, but I know that I'm kind of long winded when I get to talking about Yahweh Shem Shai. So I'm gonna try to make sure it's not too long, but I know I do get long winded sometimes. So let's get that let's get another precept here. We can go into I'll type Jesus here, even though we know his name is Yahawashi. I was thinking about this yesterday or a few days ago, and I wanted to go into it. And Google trying to do some weird shit. All right, we're going Matthew 28:9. All right, this is King James. That's a good precept. We'll go to that one. 28. Like I said, it's kind of off the cuff, but I know the precepts are gonna hit. We can use it right here. It's the KJV version right here. Matthew 28:8 it says, "They departed quickly from the scepter with fear and great joy and did." Okay, what the hell? See, they playing with me now. Hold on, Salaki, give me a moment. I thought I just. Oh, it's 28:18. Yeah, my bad. That's on me. 18. Yeah, man. The Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai has been given all power, man. We're gonna get another precept on it as well. not only this one. Read this here in the KJV says, and Yahawashi came and spake unto them, saying, you know what? I'm gonna get the context here. And it says in verse 18, it says, and Yahawashi came unto them and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. So the Lord rules all this shit. This is Yahawashi's shit right here, man. You know, we are nothing but, his creatures in this motherfucker. You understand? So we. But it says, go ye therefore and teach all nations, the Israelites, to the spirit are scattered throughout all nations through captivity and disobedience. But for prophecy's sake, it says, baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son. That's why we speak the names in the Paleo tongue, which is Yahweh and Yahawashi. It says the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whether I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the ends of the world. Amen. And I was thinking about, not only this scripture, but just the majesty and, like I brought out, the power of the Lord and how easy it is. It's not going to be, okay. It's not going to be a hard task at all for the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah to deliver us from these damn devils um that we're currently under. And we know that we're at the end of the world, seeing that Esau Edom is ruling right now. And I was just thinking about, Esau Edom has his military, he has its NATO, his beast system, which is consisting of the NATO and the EU. And I was just thinking about how easy and how easy peasy lemon squeezy that the Lord is going to just basically take us, from this hell that we're in, that we're catching through the spirit, through prophecy. And he's gonna put us, he's gonna rescue us, he's gonna have mercy, and grant us that salvation. And it's gonna be easy for him, man. It ain't gonna be nothing, because Yahweh Shai has been given all power, man. The Lord is omnipotent, man. The Lord is nothing that the Lord Yahweh Shai can't do. So it ain't gonna be nothing for him to come and deliver us from this man. It ain't gonna be it ain't gonna be nothing at all. It's gonna be nothing, nothing at all for him to come and get us, man. So it's nothing that we need to worry about. All we need to do is just, continue just to have faith, man, because it's not, a lack of power on our on coming from on high. Because the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah is full of power, man. You know what I'm saying? He's omnipotent. You know what I'm saying? He has all the power in the world. So it ain't Esau, not even for a second, or you gonna be able to come up against the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai and think you really finna do something, crazy, or do something uh uh uh, uh prolific. But I just want to get a couple scriptures. This is going to Hebrews real quick. This is Hebrews 1:1. It says, the Most High, who at sundry time in the various manner spake in times past unto the fathers, our forefathers by the prophets, and we hear the Lord even in these times as well, or speaking unto the fathers, by the prophet, or speaking unto our nation, our people, hard-headed as they may be, but we're speaking directly unto the elect, because they're going to be the nation and the ones to understand and come into the truth, and be delivered and be saved. You know what I'm saying? And be healed through the Spirit, and that's through the Word. But it says in verse 2, and have in the last days spoken unto us by His Son, which is who? Yahawashi, because Yahawashi has been given power. He's been given principality. He's been given the power on by Yahweh to do the Father's will. The Lord's will is being done, man. And we are to worship Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi, and to come under His order, man. We're not side by side by Yahawashi. We're not, though we treat every brother, as if they were Yahweh. We have a reverence. We worship Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. You understand? That's what I'm trying to say through the Spirit. But it says, have in these last days spoken to us by His Son, whom He hath made appointed an heir of all things, by whom He also made the worlds, man. Through the Spirit, man. It says in verse 3, who being in the brightness of His glory and express image of His person, upholding all things by the word of His power, when he had himself purged our sins, because Yahushua on the cross through the Spirit died for all the sins of Israel, but first off and foremost for the sins of the hopeful elect. All right, who are going to be a part of that first resurrection. It says in verse 3, it says, sat down by the right hand of the Majesty of the Most High. All right, because Yahawashi, even at this very important time, is sitting at the right hand of Yahawashi. It says in verse 4, being made so much better than the angels, as he have an inheritance and obtain a more excellent name than they. So Yahawashi is above the angels. Yahawashi is the top spirit on in the universe. He's right next to Yahawashi. I mean, he's right next to the Father. Now, the Father's always going to be the Father, but Yahawashi is the man. He's the spirit. He's the power. He's our God. He is the one. He is the one that we go to get to Yahweh. We go through Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi, man. Okay. It says in verse 6, and again, I'm going to jump down. It says, and again, he bringeth the first begotten, which is Yahawashi, into the world, and he saith, and all that the angels of the Most High worship him. And we are also angels, because our powers, even within this flesh, but here in this verse, I mean, I guess it can be twofold for the angels that are in heaven, because the angels that are in heaven, the actual angels, which are our brethren, our kinsmen, through the Spirit, they worship the Lord. But even us on earth, being in these wretched bodies, we are still powers, we are still gods, on a low level. You know what I mean? Because we're in the chains of darkness, like it speaks about in Jude right now. But within the spirit, our spirits, the scriptures said in Psalms 82:6 that we are gods, man. But we shall die like men. All right. So we're going through this earthly man experience, man. But when the Lord returns and gives us the renewing, the redemption of our bodies, that we've grown for through the spirit, we are gonna be changed and we're gonna be gods. We're gonna go back to that first estate. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord is already at that great estate, because of his sacrifice and the things that he did for our nation. The 33 years that he lived on the earth was he was doing his duty. And so while we're on the earth, like the scriptures speak about in Ecclesiasticus, we got to remember the day of the Lord, or the day, not the day of the Lord, but the day of the Creator in our youth, man. And this is the time while we're young, while we're vibrant, while we can teach, while we're able, while we want to do it through the Spirit. This is the time to remember our Creator, because we're trying to be the first fruits. We're trying to get delivered out of this wicked, defiled kingdom. And like I said before, it ain't gonna be nothing for the Lord to stretch out His hand and get us out of this shit. It ain't gonna be nothing. It's gonna be a snap of the finger. It ain't gonna be like, oh, deliver them from me. So, oh man, I'm gonna sweat. No, the Lord ain't gonna sweat. The Lord ain't gonna do nothing. It's gonna be nothing. It ain't gonna be nothing. I'm saying it like that. I keep repeating that because it ain't nothing for the Lord to come to deliver us from this man. You gotta understand, man. And that's why I'm finna go into this Ezekiel, the first chapter, because it goes into, more, and explains the vision that he was getting and the majesty of the Lord. That, look, man, at any time through the Spirit, I can redeem you, from these heathens. I can redeem you easily from these men, man, because these heathens and these people that we're under, we are the sons of God, man. And that comes with a certain vibration, that comes with a certain power, man. Through the Spirit power, Yahweh Shemel Shah, we are not just regular men on earth, Lord willing, with this truth and understanding, man. But the Lord has deemed us worthy to have this truth, and we are gods within this flesh, man. But we just got to go through this time of because we understand that we did sin against the Lord. All of us have sinned against the Lord, even the hopeful elect. And so we're going through the motions, until the Lord redeems us, man. But the Lord is coming to redeem us, man. This is a good precept to keep. It says, to keep on hand. It says, and the angels he saith, who maketh his angels, the actual angels, his angel spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. All right, because that's how they come. You know, well, the angels can take many forms, but typically the angels be in the chariots, and when you see them in the skies or in the air, they look like a flame of fire. You know, let me make sure I don't want anything else on this. Right. All right, because like I said before, it's here in verse 13 it says, "But unto which angel," was showing you that the Lord is above all these other spirits, man. He's even above Micah Allah. Micah Allah is nothing but a servant unto the Lord Yahawashi Yahushua. You know, and Micah Allah is one of the great chief archangels that's gonna stand up for us, that's written in Daniel's the 12th chapter. But it says, "But to which angel said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thy enemy a footstool?" All right, because you got to understand that this is the Lord's earth, this is the Lord's kingdom, this is the Lord's everything. His firmament, his world, his moon, his sun, everything. He is in charge. He is in control. He is Lord over the universe, over the Milky Way, whatever you want us to call it. All right, so I want to get that was what I wanted to get on that. We can keep the 7 right here because I might have to come back to it and when I go into the Ezekiel. But I'm gonna go into the Ezekiel real quick and be edifying. I don't want to. I want to say I'm a touch around in here, but it's not too hard of a chapter to understand. Um, that crazy. But we're gonna jump right into it now. It says in verse 3, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi. So like, you know, it says in the land of Chaldeans. This is during the Babylonian captivity, by the way. It says by the river of Kabar, and the land, and the hand of the Lord, the hand of the Lord Yahweh was there upon him. It says, and look, and behold, a whirlwind. Now this is going right into the chariots, you know, because that's how it represents the speed, you know, of those chariots and how they look, because when they be moving at that high level of speed, they be spinning, you know. But sometimes they can either spin or not spin. It's whatever the Lord wants them to do, but they be spinning, you know. Sometimes it says, and look, and behold, a whirlwind came unto out of the north, and a great cloud. Now this cloud is going into a chariot. It says, and fire enfolding in and of itself. Now what actual cloud do you know in real life when you look up at clouds is it has fire, it's folding in itself. That's why this is good right here. This is a precept. It says ministers of flame of fire. So these 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 angels are in the chariots, and it's in the likeness, you know, of a flame of fire. Let me see. It says well, actually it says a great cloud, which is representative of the chariots, and a fire fire folding in a fire slakia and folding in itself. All right, because when you look up into the heavens from far away, it looks like a fire, you know, or like a great light. You know, we gotta remember this is back during these times, you know. So Ezekiel is explaining it the best of his ability. So let's get a precept here. Psalms 104. And we'll keep going into Ezekiel. You know, I just want to make this as edifying as it can be. Make sure. Yeah, we're gonna jump into it. This is damn, what the devil. Hmm. Where is it? All right, it says, "Who make of his angels spirits his ministers a flaming fire," which, you know, is going right into that Hebrews and going and he's going right into that Ezekiel. These are the angels come. You know what I'm saying? Or how they would look from afar. You know, when they're in that chariot. Now, when the chariot gets closer to us, it's gonna look a lot different. But Ezekiel here in his vision got a first hand. You know, is gonna go into it and describe, you know, how the chariots, kind of came, you know, or provide for us a description. You know, now we don't know like, oh, you know, what color, and what does it does have the color in this chapter as well. But I'm saying, as far as like, oh, what's in the chariot, or or extra details that we don't need to know. Basically, it says in verse 5, it says, "And in the midst came out likeness of four living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man." Now this is going to the angels of the Lord. The Elohim, all right, and how they look. Now, like I said, the angels can take any any form, because they got that power, but the Lord has them in the state, I guess, in their normal states that we finna go into. Now this is the Lord, man. This is Yahawashi Al Shai, so he's far out, man. He can make the angels, look like anything, or have them, their majesty of the angels is insane. It's crazy. So, we saw an angel now, right now, at this very moment, we probably bug out, through the spirit. But this is just showing the power of the Lord, and how far out he is, and the things that he's able to do, you know. But it says also came out of the mist. Now out of the mist is coming out of the chariot. It says came out the likeness of four living creatures. This is what, and it says this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, so they looked like dark skinned. They were dark skinned, brethren. The angels have our color. Because we come from the ground, man, Adama. So they were dark skinned men. It says in verse 6, and everyone had four faces and everyone had four wings. Now this is literal. They actually had four faces and they actually had four wings. Now this is the Most High. He's far out, man. This is how the Lord created the angels, to look here. you know. But it says in verse 7, it says, and their feet were straight feet, and their sole of their feet were like the soles of calf feet. So it was like a cloven foot, something like a ninja. A ninja has those cloven feet shoes, so it looks similar to that. It says, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. So it's going to their aura. It says, so they were glowing, kind of like they were glowing, kind of like Bruce Lee. Or there was a movie, or there's like a movie. I'm gonna look it up after this lesson. That probably might be the thumbnail. But there's like a movie that Bruce Lee was like, I believe it's Bruce Lee. He gets this like glow, like it might be Enter the Dragon or some shit. But it is what it is. And keep going. It says, and they had the hands of a man under their wings. These are literal wings. Not figurative, but literal. It says of a man, and therefore it says verse 8 says they had the hands of a man under their wings and their four sides, and they had their wings, they had their faces on their, wait, hold on, it says, and the forehead, it's like I'm tripping. Let me reread this. I'm tripping. It says, and they had hands of a man under their wings, their four sides, and they four had faces on their wings. All right, and it says in verse 9, their wings were joined together one to another. They turned not when they went, and they went everyone straightward. So these beings, the angels, the Elohim, they are not on this third dimensional field that we in. They did not have to turn like we have to turn and then walk, or we're going to the direction. We got to turn, lean, turn, do all this, human shit. But these are the high level beings. These are the angels, so they're on a different wavelength. They're in the fourth dimension. They're on the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai's time, so they can do things, that gods, because they're powers gods can do. So they're moving, they're hovering, because they wasn't walking, but they're hovering and doing things that's otherworldly, that cannot be replicated or done on in this world at this time. It says in verse 10, it says, in the likeness of their faces they had four, and it says they had the face of a man. Now this is going to go into, these all represent something, and I got the little breakdown here of what these faces represented. But it says here, the four going into the creatures, the angels, Elohim. It says the four had the face of a man, which represents wisdom. All right, you can I believe a good precept on that. It says the face of a man when you go into Ecclesiastes 8. I'm trying to make this quick, so I ain't gonna go into, I'm not gonna go into everything, but it says here in verse 10, it says, in the face of a lion, and the scriptures speak about how the righteous are bold as a lion. All right. So these represent characteristics, man. These represent things. It says, and on the right side, they had the face of an ox, which goes into, I believe, strength. Yes, strength, being strong like an ox. The scriptures go. There's precepts on that. It says in verse 10, and the four also had the face of an eagle, which represents flight. I do believe, yes, being able to fly. Yes, so flight. It says in verse 11, thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched forth upwards. Two wings on every one were joined together, two covered their bodies. It says in verse 12, and they went straight forward whither the Spirit was to go, and they went, and they turned not when they went. So they can do they're on a different level. They don't got to turn. They can move laterally, back and forth. They can just do. It's high level, high worldly power, and this is just to represent how the Lord Yahawashi through his angels and through his hosts is not going to have any trouble delivering us from uh the hands of Esau. It ain't gonna be nothing for Yahushua to do this. It says in verse 13, it says, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and their appearance and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. All right, I believe this is going into their aura. It says, as the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was burning coals of fire, and their appearance was of lamps. So they were bright. They were shining. They was on fleek, if you will. It says, it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. Out and out of the fire went forth lightning. So their aura was something else. It says in verse 14, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. So I do believe here in verse 14. Correct me if I'm wrong. They these chariots, they can come and go at speeds unimaginable. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I represent it. That's why I believe it represents when it says the living, Yahweh Shah, it says when the living creatures ran. So when they move or they go somewhere, they can return right back to that same spot or come back like that. It's nothing like a flash of lightning. When you see lightning touch down or you see lightning in the air, it's fast and it's gone. You know what I mean? So that just goes into these chariots are on a different wavelength. They can go Mach 100. They going crazy fast. But it says in verse 14, but if I'm wrong on that, please, through the Spirit, Yahweh Shemashah, Yahweh Shah, Ratazah, correct me. But it says in verse 15, I beheld a living creature, behold one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures. And it says one wheel upon the earth by the living creature with his four faces. All right, going to the landing pods. It says in the appearance of the wheels and their work. Now this is going into that was explaining the angels in their appearance in and of themselves. Now verse 16 is going into the chariots. You know what I'm saying? The following verses finna go into the chariots. It says and they have the appearance of wheels, and their work was like unto the color of beryl. It says and the four had one likeness. They look similar. They look like you got Esau Edom telling you they look like little saucers and stuff in that nature. Well, they didn't get that. They don't say that for no reason. The chariots can come and look in many types of forms, but the Lord has it where for the most part they look like they come in the likeness of like a wheel within a wheel. Like a saucer looking type of looking a saucer looking type of deal. You know what I'm saying? But on a high level. It says and the four had one likeness, and their appearance of their work was like a wheel in the middle of a wheel. You know what I'm saying? So if you think of a wheel within a wheel, you're gonna think of a saucer, bro. You know what I mean? Let me get a Let me get a maybe I can get a picture or something. I know people are visual. You know, a wheel within a wheel. This is kind of what it was. Kind of what it's talking about. Let's see if I can get another video. Here you have another example, and I just want to get some examples real quick so brothers can be edified and Lord willing, this all making sense. But it's gonna make sense unto the hopeful elect. Now, as you can see, this right here is the fathership, if you will. This is likened unto the ship that's gonna cover the like. It speaks about this in not Revelation. It speaks about this in Edris the 13th. Going into that mountain that he was upon is going like a great mountain, man. This chariot is gonna cover the earth, you know. And this it speaks about this in Revelations, the first chapter, when it says every eye shall see him. Because when he come back on something like when this covers the sky, something identical to this, everybody's gonna see that shit. And then you got the other saucers, the other chariots coming out of the fathership, or they were or that just appear. They were already there in the atmosphere. As you can see these other smaller chariots, and then you got the big chariot, which is the one that Yahawashi will be in. Here's another picture. As you can see, we're finna go into it, but here you got I believe these represent here the eyes or the windows, and I'm sure these have other functions as well, but we're gonna be able to see out of these windows or the eyes so we can see the destruction of Babylon. Seeing Revelations, the 15th chapter, first verse, going on down. We're gonna get beamed up, man. As this brother here is getting beamed up. So I'm just going through the precepts. You know how the chariots, can the appearance of them and how people are gonna be amazed as these Edomites finna get destroyed. But that's Yahawashi, represent Yahawashi on top. But the chariots can come in many different forms, man. It's not just one basic form like, oh, it's a saucer, like Aesop. Nah, man, it can look far out, man. You know, something like this. See if there's any other good precepts. But from far away, they don't look like that. From far away, like I say, they can change their shape and they form, but from far away they look like little dots in the sky, or little fireballs in the sky. As you can see here, you know, I would have to go into a video to show a better example. I'm trying to get something here. Chariots here. As you can see, this is good. These are great precepts going into exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm just going into this to explain the majesty and the power of the Lord. I'm not trying to make it a whole chariot lesson. But as you can see, these look like ministering balls of fire. Which represents the chariots. So it's just the form they can come in. And I'm finna get another precept to go into it and explain it further. You know, they can come in. These are real pictures. They can come in, diverse shapes and diverse, sizes. Man, Zechariah explained them in Zechariah the 5th chapter, 1 through 4, as a flying roll. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, these chairs. Here's a good. Oops. Ooh, okay. Well, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to click into it. But if it makes the picture bigger, then cool. Cool. I was trying to click into this. As you can see, they look like balls of fire in the sky or balls of light. So let's go into a precept to explain. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I swear to God, I just saw 144. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta go back. The spirit might just be dealing right now. Hold on. Oh yeah. Oh, I thought okay. Nah, the spirit's still dealing. The spirit's still dealing. I thought I saw 144 right here or something. This still looks like a spiritual number, sort of. One, two, three. I be my bad. I be looking at certain things like that. Anyway, we're gonna go into it. As you can see, These look like balls of light in the sky, little balls of fire, little balls of light. And the scriptures go into that. Goes into that in Numbers. And because the chariots led us out of Egypt, and they were constantly with us. So these lights were with us, man. These balls of fire, these chariots of fire, these you know these angels, man, that are in the chariots. It says he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of light by the people by night. So the chariots, these balls of light, if you will, these balls of fire, if you will, were leading us, and we looked unto them to show us the way. It says here in verse 21, and the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, which the same thing it spoke about in Ezekiel going into the cloud. This is how you know it's talking about a chariot. It says to lead them by the way by night, and by night by the pillar of fire, you know, which is, it says to give them light, and by to go by day and night. So it's going in and letting it's going into what I'm explaining. All right, a pillar of fire, man. You know, which are going into the angels, man, going to Eliam, man. You know, and going into the chariots, man. You know, going back into Ezekiel, uh, verse 16 again. It says the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance was their work was a wheel within a wheel. So I went into the pictures to show you, what that would look like. So it ain't gonna be no problem for the Lord Yahawashi to deliver us, to beam us up, to get us out of this condition, to get us out of this damn, this man's hands when the time comes, man. When the missiles drop. It says in verse 17, when they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. So these chariots, have just the same ability as the angels. They're otherworldly, man. They don't the rules of physics are not applied to these godly beings. Okay, it says in verse 18, in their rings, which I believe is still going into the chariots, because they're likened unto it's like this is still going to the chariots, still going into their description. It says they were so high and they were dreadful, and their wings were full of eyes round about. So this is going in those eyes. Well, I gotta pull up the picture again. Their eyes, which are those windows that you see on the chariots, are going to be used for us to see out of the chariots, but it's also going to be used probably to zap laser beams, you know, out of the chariots. Well, I can see that as well. I speak as a man, but yeah, I can see that. Let's go back into it again. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the hopeful elect. But just going into it, as you can see, go back to this picture because they don't got a lot of pictures on the internet of this. Or maybe I'm typing in something wrong. I don't fucking know. But when you go back to this picture. Oh wow! As you can see all these what would look like eyes on the chariot. Now, I know there's a better picture. Let's go. Let's go to a better picture. Trying to see. Go this picture right here. As you can see, you look around the chariot. You got this right here, which would look like an eye, if you will. Then you got this that looks like an eye, this that looks like an eye. It's far out, man. You know, but this is the fear of the so-called white man, and this is what's gonna come to pass through the Spirit. This is how we're gonna be redeemed. Through great power and great majesty. Back into 18, it says, and they were full of eyes round about them of the four chariots. Now it says in verse 19, and when the living creatures went, so the living creatures, which are the Elohim, which are the angels, are they're either above the chariots or under the chariots, beside the chariots. They're near the chariots, basically. And it says, and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. So wherever the creatures went, the chariots were right next to them. So if they move left, the chariots move left. If they move all the way to the right and flew to the right, the chariots flew to the right. They were the chariots and the angels with the Elohim, the angels, the gods. They were one. The angels of the Lord. The angels were one. They was on a, they were in one in connection. It was in one, of one spirit. So wherever they went, that's where the chariots went. It says where the wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. So wherever they went, they went. It says in verse 20, wheresoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. The wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. So they were one. You know what I'm saying? Even though they were standing outside of it or near it, they still had the mind to follow the living creatures, which were the angels. Wherever they went. It says, and when those went, these went, and when those stood, these stood. And when they were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. And for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels, was in the chariots. Okay. It says in verse 22, and the likeness of the firmament was above of the likeness of the firmament above the heads of the living creatures. Now this is going into the actual firmament that in the vision that Ezekiel is seeing, going into the firmament. You know, it says upon the heads of the living creatures was of the color of terrible crystal. Hmm. I think there's a precept on that. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So this is going. I guess we can touch on this. This is edifying unto the body. Revelations 22, real quick. Revelations 22 is going to the tree of life, but that's going into the zodiac signs. Not the zodiac signs, but the what the fuck are they called? I'm gonna look it up. It says, this is Revelations 22:1. It says, and he showed me a pure water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and the Lamb. Now this is going into the firmament. You know what I'm saying? Because the firmament, if you was above the firmament, it would look clear. You know what I'm saying? And the firmament that we have upon our heaven, it goes up so high, but it's clear because we can see the moon onto the next firmament and the stars and things of that nature. All right, but yeah, this is going into uh I forget, it's going into the constellations, the 12 constellations, Salakia. Yeah, it says in the midst of the street of it. All right, I believe he likened the street unto of space. It says in either side of the river, well, either side of the river, I believe, is going to is yeah, either side of the river is going into either side of the firmament. Salakia. It says was the tree of life. The tree of life is going into those 12 constellations. which why it says which bred 12 men as a fruit and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Because we used to be able to read the stars and the constellations to know what we were supposed to do, or what was going to happen the next day, for crops and things of that nature. But now on the left hand side is being used for wickedness and sacrifices and things of that nature. And plus Esau Edom is spraying chemtrails and destroying the atmosphere, so we don't have that power anymore to read the stars and read the constellations like that. You know what I'm saying? But we will receive and get that back in the kingdom, you know. And it says, in the leaves of the trees were for the healing of the nations. All right, so we don't have that ability to do that anymore. So let's go back into Ezekiel. Actually, I'm gonna